meet the Georgia Bulldogs, you're gonna feel the bulldog. Standing up, cheering September till the 1st of June.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom! Woo! Man.
This is show number 85. Welcome in, everybody. The Dawgs steamrolled Tennessee Tech. What was it, 48-3?
48-3, Clark. It was just men versus boys out there on Saturday afternoon in Athens. That's
was.
all you can say about it. I mean, it was just a complete game that was just Georgia just outmanned them, outclassed them, out everything. Out anything that you could put after the word out, Georgia did it in Tennessee Tech on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, it was a beatdown, as expected, against an FCS. I about said FSC. That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's hard to get them letters right.
I know. There's a lot of acronyms.
There's a lot of stuff that goes between letters and numbers when classifying football teams and everything.
True.
But
yeah, but just a total dominating performance with the Dogs. And, yeah, I mean, on to the next one. And we open up SEC play on this episode.
Sir.
Georgia versus Kentucky this Saturday. Ought to be a fun one. But we're going to recap this past game and talk about it. There's some things we want to touch on. Not a whole lot to say, honestly, but we'll have a weekly concession stands report, Clark's fun facts, Georgia Offense, Defense, Special Teams, and then we'll get into our Georgia-Kentucky preview. We got some notes on the Wildcats.
We do. 2 napkins full of notes on some stuff.
Wow.
2 napkins full of notes on some stuff, man.
Man,
so,
you came prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to talk about it. You know, a lot to touch on. Kentucky, their fan base is just heartbroken right now. Heartbroken.
I think just honestly devastated is the right
shocked.
word. Yeah, shocked.
I went to I kind of wandered over to the Kentucky Wildcats football forums.
Oh,
and,
boy.
Just to gather a pulse of the fan base, right, Clark? You know, and let's just say not feeling too good over there in the Bluegrass State about their football team right now. Yeah. So, hey, let's go. I say what you do when somebody's down like that, you kick them.
Yeah. Not in, everywhere.
And anything else in life, you don't kick anybody while they're down.
That's what I'm trying to say,
in football, you kick them while they're down.
It's allowed.
Yeah,
for
Not
sure.
literally kick them, but, you know, just put your foot on their throat and go up there and steamroll them and let them know that you're the #1 team in America.
Exactly. Oh, man.
And that's what you do, and that's what needs to happen on Saturday. And it's been a long time, Clark. Been a long time since we've gone up to Lexington and just thumped them. One could argue the 18 game up there was that, but
it was only a 17-point victory.
Yeah, that's true. And they were a top 10 program at that time, and that was late in the year. We used to play Kentucky late in the year, and it's cold up there, man. But I mean, we'll get to some of these games. I mean, it's a tough place to play. One of the toughest places. One of the most kind of, I don't know, sneaky underrated places that is a hard venue to play in the SEC and to come away with a win. I know people are like, Kentucky, really? Yeah, the old Commonwealth Stadium, Kroger Field now. It's a tough place to play, and Georgia has historically, you know, not lost up there by any. I mean, they have before. In 2006 they did, but always a tight game, man.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
a lot of years.
We've played them several times the past few years, and it's been, like you said, pretty close. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history of this matchup.
Awesome.
And then the current matchup, this year's matchup, because I'm telling you.
Oh, I see you got that on the notes right there.
Yeah,
awesome.
I do.
Good deal.
But this game could get out of hand really quickly, and we're going to tell you why.
Yes, sir.
We also are going to talk about last week's games. There were a lot of really good college football games on last week. We didn't really expect it. I think a lot of us thought certain teams would win, and they didn't, and it's just fun. This is why we love college football.
Why we love it right here, why it's different than any other sport is you never know any given Saturday. You don't know what's going to happen, man. It's already week two, and there's chaos.
Love it. Inject it into our veins.
Right in that vein right there. Love it.
I love how that saying has just kind of, I don't know.
Put it right in there.
Yeah. That saying, though, has kind of made a comeback.
Yeah. It needs to. It needs to.
The past few years,
it just
and I love
describes it. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to feel, you know?
Yep. We're also going to pick some games this week. And then, Adam.
Yeah.
We've got a segment that we're bringing back. Game of the week.
Good. Cannot wait, man. I love the game of the week. Really excited to showcase these teams and these programs and universities and towns all across America. And they need the love, too.
They do.
Clark, so let's get back on that. Let's get back on that train. I'm all for that.
College, D2 teams are college football teams, too.
They are, and they need to be showcased.
Exactly.
On a podcast like this. So that's what we're going to do.
We're going to show some love on this podcast.
That's right.
Oh, man. Well, this past Saturday was great. Good atmosphere, Adam. I got to be honest. I was impressed with the Dawgs, and we showed out. It was pretty hot. Yep. For those of us sitting in the sun, you got to sit under or on row 60, so you got to sit.
It was a little toasty down there. Wasn't it?
Well,
a lot of people were talking about how hot it was underneath the overhang there, and it wasn't for me as much because I've spent all summer working in it every single day. But you kind of get accustomed to it. But a lot of people said it was just burning up out there, just sitting. And also, Clark, I want to take a poll. I want to collect some data, if you will.
Okay, yeah.
I want to collect a little data, if you will. So I need the help of the audience. In collecting this data that we're going to put on a spreadsheet, Clark.
Okay.
And we can't get the official results of this until after the UMass game. But hear me out on this one. I want everybody. This was a family game. Row 60 has trademarked the term family game. The past 3 or 4 years of this is when. Obviously, it's a game that you pick out on a schedule. Tickets are cheap, not a high-stress game against a team like Tennessee Tech, where you take young children to or people who really don't go normally to games, and it's more relaxed, right, Clark? It's not against like Tennessee or somebody. So a lot of kids were in Sanford Stadium Saturday, right?
Right.
And it was hot, as you just said. So I want to know, what was the average time before families hit the exit? They had enough. The kids have had enough. It was too hot. They said it was time to go back to the car, get in the AC, and head to the house. So I would like to know, if it was a family game for you and you brought some kids, grandkids, however, to the game, send to row 60. How many quarters? And let's break it down by quarters and half a quarter. So you can say we made it 3.5 quarters. We made it to, the 7-minute mark of the third quarter. Then we had to go. Yeah. Or we made it till the 8-minute mark in the second quarter. I want to get that data, right? And then I want to get the data when we play UMass in November when it's cold. Ooh. So I want to see, what weather affects how long the families stay at these games when they're blowouts, when they're Georgia blowouts, right, Clark?
Let me ask you this. Do you have a theory?
I think we're going to see. I think, my speculation here, Clark.
Okay.
When I plug in the numbers and everything, once we collect this data, and data is everything on this. Data and research is everything on this. I mean, we have to have some participation to get these numbers accurate.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see that the UMass November game is going to be the game where the family stayed the longest.
Well, there's a lot of variable factors here, Adam, because the score, I think, could dictate some of this too.
Well, I think it's going to be about the same result on the scoreboard. Let's just speculate that right now. And really, the factor we're really researching is, do the families stay to watch a blowout game against Cupcake Moore in a colder environment or a hotter environment? So what weather does Georgians and the children of Georgians prefer to watch Georgia football in?
I love it, Ab. This is good. This is groundbreaking research here.
I mean, that's what. So we're going to take the family game to a next level. So
Adam is going to get. You're going to get your dissertation. You're going to write your dissertation paper about this.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to compose a 500-word essay. And
it's got to be longer than that.
So we need to know. Also, we can put another factor into it. Is how much more money do you spend when there's a family game as far as concessions for the kids, trips to the bookstore, and everything else of the like that comes with taking kids to these games and family atmospheres, trips to the concession stands, Clark. So put that in there too.
We need a dollar amount.
Yeah, so that's what I want to see. And we're gonna plug this in. Like I said, we'll get a good chunk of the research information for people who are sending it in right now. Then of course we can't complete our research project here until after the Massachusetts game in November.
We'll love it, Adam. Good stuff.
Yeah, anyway. So
hot day. One more note I want to make about the atmosphere of it. I mean, good showing by the Georgia faithful.
It was.
But man, there was one particular moment in the game where I think it was actually the loudest moment of the game. And it wasn't because of anything that was happening on the field. In fact, it was something that was happening in the sky. There was this gigantic cumulonimbus cloud, I think.
Oh, really?
I don't know.
Cumulonimbus, you say?
Cumulonimbus.
A cumulonimbus.
No. Cumulo. Slow down. Syllable by syllable. Okay.
Cumulonimbus.
Nimbus. There you go.
It has some precipitation in it.
Oh, maybe.
Had a little precipitation.
No.
A little bit of a heavy cloud to come.
No, it was just a giant cloud.
Well,
I don't know.
Continue with
anyway,
this story. All right.
The sun is just beating down on the people, right? And this huge cloud just comes over and just blocks the sunlight. for about 30 minutes. But as the cloud was kind of passing by and blocking the sun, it was kind of funny. Like the crowd started cheering in a way.
The cloud, right? Like bringing the cloud up.
Yes,
that was the most exciting thing that happened all day.
Yes, it was. And we got some great shade, and it cooled down probably 10 degrees after that cloud. Yeah. And if you were sitting out in the sun, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the place erupted.
Oh, good.
It was great.
Good. Now, did you get juiced, Clark, after every touchdown, like fired up? Like, I mean, what was your level of excitement? I mean, or were you kind of calm just watching it, just really taking it in? Because these games to me is, I watch position groups that I normally don't during a big game.
There you go.
Like I'm not really almost watching the ball as much this game because I'm wanting to see what's happened on the backside of the play. You know, who's staying at home and really kind of look at that stuff during these games. So I don't know. I'm dialed in. I guess you could say even to a bigger degree during these games, but I'm not just just fire. I mean, I give a good juice. I point at people, and get give them a little fist bump when we score and a nice soft clap. But I don't lose my voice in these games.
No. I do no yelling on third downs. I'd save my voice, for the next matchup.
Of course, as you should.
But yeah, in terms of just like if I'm rating one of these games, my excitement level is probably a 3 to 4 out of 10.
I mean, you're happy to be there.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. My gratefulness level is a 10 out of 10.
Oh, of course, every time. And you're going to go because you only get so many per year to go watch Georgia play football, right? So, yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving on. Weekly concession stands report.
Hit that jingle, baby.
We talked about this last week, Adam, ice cream. And we got some good feedback. The people really like the ice cream chatter, so we're going to continue it this week.
Good.
Adam, I was terribly disappointed in the ice cream. 5 out of 10. And you're a big Brewster's guy.
I'm a big Brewster's guy.
And that's what we got. You actually were the one that went and got the ice cream for us, and I'm very appreciative of that, Adam.
Absolutely.
That made my heart smile. You went in about the third quarter when the game was in hand, and you called me. You said there was no cookies and cream left. That was devastating to me. So we got, what was it, chocolate chip cookie dough?
Yeah.
But the reason I was so disappointed, when you typically get cookie dough ice cream, you're going to have chunks of cookie dough. Yeah. In this, there was none to be found.
Really? I think you just got a bad cup.
Maybe.
Because my cup was filled with chunks of cookie dough. And a funny story about lining up at the cart. Another interesting kind of study here, Clark. The Kona Ice cart and the Brewster's ice cream cart side by side with each other. Okay, there was 3 or 4 people in line for Brewster's, but there was a line a mile long to get some Kona Ice, and I thought that was I don't understand that. I'd rather have an ice cream over a Kona Ice with some fabricated flavor. Syrup poured on it any day of the week. So I don't understand the demand for Kona Ice. I don't get it. I'm not a Kona Ice guy. I mean, if I ever get a Kona Ice, I'm gonna just pump a couple squirts in there. I don't drench in that stuff and get all syrupy and everything. Get my hands all sticky. Just a couple pumps, or either I'll just get just a cup of shaved ice and be fine and eat it. But anyway, that was my first observation of going here, and I was like, golly, the people love Kona Ice. Didn't know that was a big thing. But anyway, Brewster's ice cream. I get there, they're putting new flavors on the board. They got a fresh batch in. The lady was like, sorry for your patience. I was feeling jubilant. All 5 of us waiting in line. I was like, oh, you're fine, ma'am. Go ahead. And she was like, we got some chocolate chip cookie dough. As she was right, you could tell the excitement. So I gave it back to her. I got fired up. I started saying, yes, sir. I love some cookies and cream or cookie dough. Let's go. And you could tell it really made her day.
Oh, really?
That I was getting juiced about it. And then the other people looked at me like I had 4 eyes. But I was getting juiced about it. I said, there we go. That's what we love. Good deal. Good. And she said it was like there was a fresh batch of it that they just got, out of the freezer, I guess. And I showed my appreciation for that. And she loved the energy that I brought in the middle of the third quarter. Everybody else, tired and whatnot, hot, and that I brought to the Brewster's ice cream stand in the middle of the third quarter.
Oh, my gosh.
I thought mine was good. I like how they put it in the cup, and I like how they put a lid over your ice cream. So like when you're carrying multiple ice creams back to the seat, less of a risk to spill the ice cream.
The presentation was fantastic.
It was. Thank you.
But I was just disappointed in my specific scoop. How much did you pay for that, by the way?
It was good, about $6.95.
What? Okay, now that really is ridiculous.
$14 for 2 cups.
I'm taking it down from a 5 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10 for that. I was just not very impressed. Also, Adam, I'm not very thrilled about the design on the stadium cups. And if you're on YouTube, you can see it right here. we've got the Savage pads, and it's a shot of the stadium, Sanford Stadium in the background. But
Clark,
it's just bland.
That is bad. That is bad.
Adam, what happened to the days when we would put
the holograms
or the players on the cups?
Yeah, I agree. You covered the whole thing with players on it, and put Carson Beck on there, man. I don't get that. The Savage pads, I don't know.
How do we feel about the Savage pads, people? I want to know everybody's thoughts. I will say, they are incredibly heavy. They weigh like 30 pounds. It's kind of crazy.
Like it for the turnover celebration. Don't like it. The Spike Squad needs to do away with it. Am I a big fan of the Spike Squad? Are we going to have our yearly conversation about the Spike Squad too?
Do you like the Spike Squad?
I mean, I like school spirit.
Sure.
And I like good natural fun.
Okay.
So I'm not going to hate on the kids doing that, man. If they're just getting fired up like I am about Georgia football, they won't wait hours in line to get in the first row to be a part of the Spike Squad. Good on them, Clark. Good on them. Is it a little bit cringy? Yeah.
They're college kids.
But have a good time. All for a good fun. But no, I'm okay with the Spike Squad. What I'm not okay with is I've seen videos circulated of what happened at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and I did not see any of these before we recorded last week. So I have to address it right now real quick. And nothing against some of these people, but you see some of these college-age guys, kind of in their khaki shorts and Peter Millar polos. And I don't like the trend of having an actual dog leash with one of their buddies on all fours acting like a dog going and barking at the opponents, acting like they're a dog. Or holding them back.
I've got mixed feelings on this. Yes, it's super cringy in my opinion, but at the same time,
as an 18 to 22-year-old. Now, if an 11, 12-year-old, you're like, you probably don't want to do it, but whatever. That's fine. That's clever. Whatever. But I the particular video I saw was they went up to a Clemson tailgate. Looked like some boys that go to UGA, and the guy had a shirt off and had a dog leash on him and was on all fours going up to Clemson fans, pretending to be a dog, and the guy was pretending to hold him back. And the Clemson fans literally were just staring at him. Like, they had the perfect response to it, like just not acknowledging it. And I think we need to do away with that.
It's kind of funny, though. In a way.
But it's not even the bar. It's not even the bar. It's the Wait, it sounded like a Rottweiler. These guys. I mean, not a good it was just a. I'm not a fan, but that's just my opinion, and my opinion doesn't matter. So
it's pretty cringy, and I think most people would tend to agree with you there. Those kids are crazy.
Just a perfect spot to slide. I mean, I love school spirit and all for everybody having just good natural fun, but I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Find other ways.
A couple more notes and as far as concession stands go here. Hey, if you want a stadium cup, a souvenir cup, Caitlin and I have found a hack.
Oh,
and we've mentioned this before on Row 60, and if you've been listening intently, you would know about this. It's kind of one of those things, if you know, you know. But for those who don't know, I want to tell you about this. This has worked 3 out of 3 times, all right?
Batting 100.
So batting 1,000. 1,000, yeah. So what you do is, if you want an extra souvenir cup, you say, hey, could I get a cup of ice water? And they're going to say, yeah, we can do that. And then they're going to go look for a styrofoam cup, and they're not going to have one.
They're not going to find it because they're untrained concession stand workers in the sense. They're rotating new groups coming in each and every week, right?
Exactly.
So, okay.
So they say we don't have styrofoam cups. They resort to the souvenir cup. They give you a bottle of water with it, and boom, you have a free souvenir stadium cup.
I like that. That's good.
3 out of 3 times. So we're giving the people a lot of homework here. And we're about to move on from the concession stands, but we're giving the people a lot of homework. What I want you to do is I want you to try this the next time you're in Sanford Stadium or an opposing stadium and just see if it works.
Yeah, I like it.
I want to see if that's just us, if we're just getting lucky, or if that's just a trend. So
okay, I like it. I spilt my souvenir Coke before the kickoff, the opening kickoff.
Jeez.
Like kicked it
That's
over.
not a good way to start the game.
Just spilled it. Didn't even get to take a sip out of it.
Oh,
it was all on the concrete, Sanford Stadium concrete.
Dang.
You'll have that.
You will have that. All right, moving on here. We want to shout out a couple people. First of all, Hunter Wyatt drove all the way from Charleston, South Carolina. That's a 4-5 hour haul.
Yeah.
I don't know, something like that.
Love that, man.
long way. But we got to meet up with them and talk with them on row 60. A lot of fun. And then we also saw our Section 108 crowd, the Harrell family and Rick Burkhalter and his
the
family.
Burkhalter family. The Burkhalter and Harrell families are just staples in Section 108. We love them. DGDs, appreciate them.
Yeah.
Appreciate the support from those two families.
I have
Great
to
friends.
specifically mention Mr. Russell Harrell, who's a row 60 patron. So is Mr. Rick Burkhalter. But Russell, though, I was very thankful for this. We were sitting out in the sun. About 5 minutes into the game, he texts me. He says, "Hey, we got an extra seat up here in the shade." And I was thinking, man, that would be nice. But Adam, I did the chivalrous thing. Chiv or Shiv?
Either one. Doesn't matter.
Chivalrous thing. And I let my pregnant wife go sit up there with Russell Harrell, and they had a great time. They were probably making fun of me, but
But that was good. That was good. No, just DGDs, just good people. Just good people. Good people all the way around.
Yep.
Love them and excited to be with our Section 108 family with Richard and Jack and Pam and everybody else and the Burkhalters and the Harrells for another season, a fun-filled season of Georgia football, man.
Absolutely.
Doesn't get any better.
Yep. All right. I've got some Clark's fun facts.
One other thing, too. Hunter Wyatt also told me that he got the ticket from another Row 60 listener. Just family connections, man, in our Row 60 group. So, awesome.
That is awesome. Clark's fun facts. Here we go. Georgia has won 41 straight regular season games. And Adam, I'm going to make this a fact until we lose a game. Because 41 straight regular season games, I mean, folks, that just doesn't happen. We are living in some glory days for sure. And I just want people to understand that. So 41 straight. Georgia opened as a 53.5-point favorite over Tennessee Tech last week. We didn't cover.
Yeah.
And what that means is UGA is now 0-11-1. We pushed one game in the Kirby era as 40-point favorites in Sanford Stadium.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy, man. But I think there's an explanation for it.
What's that?
I mean, you know, I think there's a school up north specifically when you see play like Chattanooga or Tennessee Martin or a Tennessee Tech in Knoxville and Josh Heupel's offense that they love having an impressive, flashy 68 to something score on the board, and they just, you know, I think Georgia's is more, and I could be wrong, this just could be just red and black glasses. I think the approach is obviously to win by a wide margin, but get as much situational football practice in with as many guys as possible and build experience, build situational experience like what we saw, you know, right before the half, getting that 1 minute offense really out there with no timeouts and work with the first string guys. And I just think it's treated where you might could score, put a few more points on the board, but you're letting other guys have reps earlier on, or you're running certain plays, or you're going, instead of going for it when you really could punch it in on the goal line, hey, we need Peyton Woodring to get some more kicks out there, you know, and putting him out there for a field goal attempt and stuff. I mean, that's just how I feel these games are approached, especially after, you know, they're in hand pretty well, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Kirby uses these certainly as learning opportunities for these kids. You know, he will obviously coach throughout the game and teach throughout the game. That's an important thing. And, yeah, you can do that. You can afford to do that when you're beating a team by 40 points in the third quarter. You can you know, have those situational opportunities for them to get in and to you know, go against another team that's not you in a live scenario. So, yeah, I think that's probably the case. Obviously, I think we could have beaten this team by 100 points if we really wanted to.
Yeah.
But, you know, and it's beautiful, too, because I think Kirby, I think he genuinely has a lot of respect for these D2 coaches. He's not going to just sit there and embarrass them.
Great point.
I think he has more respect for them than that.
I agree too, man.
It's not necessarily about putting up style points for him. Who cares?
Georgia don't need style points.
No, we don't. That's a good point.
And you don't really need style points anymore with how the format is. Maybe if you're these fringe teams, you do now. But where Georgia's at, Georgia don't need style points.
Exactly. Just win, baby.
That's right.
Carson Beck this week tied the UGA record for most touchdown passes in a game at 5.
Yep.
Also, some notable guys who have done that. A lot of other Georgia football quarterbacks have done that. David Green, DJ Shockley, Matt Stafford, Joe Cox, Aaron Murray, and Stetson Bennett.
Oh, yeah. Let's name the games.
Can you?
Yeah, David Green was the 2004 LSU game that we talk about, that we love so much. DJ Shockley was the 05 Boise State opener. A very underrated game in Georgia football lore. his first start. Matt Stafford was the horrendous day against Georgia Tech in 2008, Paul Johnson's first year in the rain when we lost 45-42. Joe Cox, golly, that's a name that really don't belong with the rest of them on there, but he's on there, was the shootout in Fayetteville, Arkansas, when Richard Samuel ran wild in 2009.
Dang.
Aaron Murray did it twice in New Mexico State in 2011. Then he did it in the bowl game. We were at the Capital One, the first bowl game against Nebraska, the Capital One bowl game against Nebraska. And then Stetson Bennett, UAB in 21.
Dang. I'm impressed you did that. I do not have those in the notes. So good on
I
you,
did
Adam.
see that earlier. But
really?
I knew Green and Shockley and Bennett's, but I did not know about Joe Cox in Arkansas. But that makes sense that night.
Yeah. In the past 3 games Georgia has played in, we've held each one of our opponents to just 1 field goal.
Yeah, I love
That's
it.
hilarious.
That's great.
I think that's great. And then the new AP poll has number 1 Georgia, number 2 Texas, number 3 Ohio State, 4 Bama, 5 Ole Miss, 6 Missouri, 7 Tennessee. Guys, Georgia has to play 4 of those teams in the regular season,
3
of
them
them on the road.
So 3 of the top 5 Georgia has slate. Georgia is one of the top 5, so take them out. So 3 of the other 4 you have to go on the road and play.
Wild.
Unreal, man. Heck of a schedule.
Sure is. Well, let's go back to this past Saturday, talk a little bit about this game. Once again, we don't have a lot to say here, but we'll start with Carson. Carson went 18 for 25, 242 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns, like we mentioned.
Hey, what do you think Grayson Lambert was getting a little bit nervous there for a while when he started going like 10 for 10?
Oh, yeah. Grayson Lambert does still hold that consecutive completions throughout a game record at, I think it's 16 passes.
That retired Steve Spurrier in 2015.
Yeah.
So Grayson Lambert breathed a sigh of relief after a couple of incompletions there. So, yeah.
Trevor Etienne with 5 carries, 78 yards. He averaged 15.6 yards a carry. That's insane. God. Second straight week in a row, Arian Smith is Georgia's leading receiver, 4 receptions for 73 yards. And then one last stat I have for you, Adam. 15 guys, 15 got at least 1 reception this past Saturday. Arian, Dylan, Lawson, Dominic, and Colby all had a touchdown reception. We're just lighting it up through the air,
man. Yeah, seeing those young guys, veteran guys, everybody, just the football distributed all over the field is what you want to see, man. Arian Smith, leading receiver 2 weeks in a row. Love seeing that, man. A guy that we said when we were previewing this season that we would love to see have a big year. And Clark, it certainly looked like he's being featured in this offense, man. And really Bobo trying to draw up, getting that man the ball in space and just letting things happen with his legs that are just so dangerous. And looks like Arian Smith has a new confidence about himself that you could tell as just a normal fan in the stands. And a guy I think that you're just going to see all year make big plays now, man. And it's just glad to see that story right now starting off so great his final year here because of he could have easily transferred, easily gotten frustrated, but he stuck with it, man. And hopefully it being rewarded for that this year. And it's surely looking like that way the first 2 games of the year.
For sure. Yeah, Georgia had absolutely no trouble moving the ball against Tennessee Tech. You know, in these kind of games, Adam, you got to get out on a hot start, fast start, and get a comfortable lead really quick. And we were able to do that. I mean, 1 play, 1 touchdown on our offense there to, I think it was Dylan Bell, right?
Yeah, it was Dylan Bell, little corner out in the end zone. And Carson Beck, Shockley said on the radio that Carson came to the sideline and said, man, I thought I overthrew him right there. He was scared to death he overthrew him. But Dylan Bell, another speed burner, another guy who can giddy up a little bit there. Clark was able to get underneath that football. And, first play from scrimmage, big touchdown pass.
For sure. Adam, we've been saying this all year, but honestly, you just really never know which Georgia receiver is going to pop off. And you know, past 2 weeks, it's been Arian, but, you know, you start the game plan for Arian Smith, then you got to worry about Dominic Lovett or Dylan Bell or, heck, Oscar Delp or Lawson Lucky. I mean, you just got a treasure trove of weapons.
It's the defense coordinator's nightmare, opposing defense coordinator's nightmare. I mean, the end of the year last year was Dylan Bell. It was Dylan Bell. Beginning of this year right now, it's Arian Smith seems to be the guy that's Carson's kind of targeting the most, even though he's distributing it to everybody. And like you said, we get a couple of games down the road, and Tuscaloosa might be Dylan Bell again or Dominic Lovett. I mean, it's good to know that you have those weapons in your arsenal, Clark, and you got guys like London Humphreys and Colby Young transfers that's come in to fill in spots that are already seeing a lot of significant playing time and being plugged in a big way as well, making big catches.
Absolutely. Let's see. Also good seeing Trevor Etienne back finally.
Yeah, man.
I say back. I mean, he's not been.
Yeah, just one game game suspended, man. Let's put all that behind us now. Put it to the rest. Etienne looks like he's focused and paid his 1 game suspension. It was nice. A lot of speculation on what would happen there. Take care of business without him. Now you got number 1 back. He looks great, Clark. Another guy, if you get the ball in space, I think you'll see a lot of distributing the ball to him through the passing game out of the backfield, and just another weapon right there that people got to account for. Just kill you.
He broke off a pretty good run the other day. I want to say it was close to like 40, 50 yards maybe. I don't know. He had a great run.
Yeah.
Adam, I also really like, right quick, how comfortable Carson has been in the pocket these first 2 games. He's making some really good decisions. There's been a couple of times the past 2 games where, he could have forced a ball, but he decided to, you know what, I'm going to pick up the first down with my feet, with my legs, and that's going to be big moving forward. We need to have that kind of ability to pick up yards with our legs.
3 carries, Clark, for 18 yards. Average 6 yards per carry, long run of 11 yards, man. So that's his longest run out of 3 was a first down pickup, man. So, yeah, I mean, and that, you might say 18 yards, but for a quarterback, a pocket passing quarterback, man, being able to do that, and he did that last week as well, is something that when you just dialed in and can see the field that well, because he's hanging in the pocket, Clark. We talked about this as long as he can, and it's truly his last options. He's not leaving people downfield and tucking the ball too early and breaking the pocket, right? So he's staying in as long as he can, and then if the defense is going to give him a quick 6-7 yards right there, by gosh, he's going to take it and get down, man, every time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just good to see, and it just shows the confidence he has and the veteran just guy he is in the pocket there.
For sure. Tennessee Tech was giving our receivers, honestly, like a 15-yard cushion.
That was amazing.
There was one time I looked, the corner was playing as deep as the safety was. All of them. I mean, and that happened several plays, and I think we just started to take what they were giving us.
A lot of quarters coverage.
Right. Hitting curl routes, hitting hitches on the outside, and little flat routes, that sort of thing, out routes. So, if they're going to do that, you might as well take it.
Yeah, so. I mean, I guess Tennessee Tech's defense staff's plan was you're not going to let guys like Dylan Bell or Arian Smith just take the cap off of you and have 60-yard touchdown passes where they easily can get behind the 3rd level. Just kind of maybe they're thinking that they could kind of shorten the game in a sense of Georgia has to dink and dime them down the field, and work a little bit harder to get their touchdowns through the air, But, yeah, I mean, no problem from that Georgia offense. And like you said, Clark, when Bobo Beck and that whole offensive staff saw how far off the ball that those cornerbacks were playing, yeah, I mean, easy little hitch, curls, like you said, just take what you could get, and you're advancing the chains in the right direction.
Yeah.
And just marching down the field.
Yep. Oscar Delp went to the locker room, but you and I both saw him come back, and he looked like he was okay.
Yeah. It was an ankle sprain or something.
Was that what it was?
I think Kirby said something today about that as an ankle sprain. I don't know the status, and knowing Kirby's injury reports, you take everything that Kirby says about an injury report with a grain of salt.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, he's not going to give you much.
A guy could lose a leg and he's day-to-day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's.
I mean,
honestly, though,
it's true. I mean, take that with a grain of salt. I don't know when we'll see Oscar Delp back.
The good thing is, it doesn't look too serious just from the eyes. But, yeah, I mean, it's not like we necessarily need him for Kentucky. And obviously we will have a bye week between this upcoming week and then Bama. So, and rest some guys, get some guys recovered, that kind of thing.
But a solid blocker. Oscar Delp really doesn't get the recognition I think he deserves for how good he is putting his hand in the ground and blocking. So a guy that you really need going forward in the rest of the year to be healthy, Clark. But like you said, it'll be good if he has to miss the road trip to Lexington, get a bye week, and maybe get him back for Bama. I don't know the extent of it, but somebody that I think to keep this offense humming to its full potential. Number 4 is key cog, man, that we need to get back as quick as possible.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the Georgia defense.
Great day by
Suffocating.
Bobo in the offense, but yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Suffocating defensive performance Let's see. Tennessee Tech ran the ball nearly every play, only throwing 8 passes. Yeah. There were 5 completions for 18 yards. God bless them.
Yeah.
That's all you can say. They rushed 40 times, and, hey, they outrushed Clemson for sure. I think they like doubled, almost tripled what Clemson's rushing yards were. They got 116 yards against us. You know, most of that was in garbage time. But leading tacklers were C.J. Allen, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, and Christian Miller. What do you think about those guys?
Yeah, first off, let me say this, Clark. Let me give props to Coach Bobby Wilder and the Tennessee Tech staff, offensive staff, of the game plan against this elite secondary, knowing that, you know, less bad things can happen when you just put the ball when you run the ball.
Yeah.
You know. And I just felt like he feels like he couldn't move the ball really through the air against this Georgia secondary. And it's like, well, less bad things happens when we just run the football. So he just said, we're just going to try to run the football, right? So I like it. Just simple. Just like, I mean, we're really kind of going in this game now. But, I mean, I like that from him. But going back to the leading tacklers, Clark, Dawkins, man, we saw, I think, the defensive line last year when he came back in Jacksonville take a little bit of a leap forward when number 93 was in that interior defensive line, Clark. And I think, again, he's another guy that you need to have in that rotation healthy. And we saw that yesterday. Christian Miller, I think, has the highest potential of any interior defensive lineman that we have in a sophomore year right now, and a guy that I think you're just going to keep hearing about more and more as the year progresses, and a guy that you have got to keep healthy, especially with having 4 defensive linemen out yesterday. And I mean, just some guys that you're going to hear good things from this year, especially Miller.
Oh yeah,
Dawkins is solid too.
Front 7, man, just a lead. I mean, that's all you can really say about it. C.J. Allen, just flying around to the ball. I love the amount of hats we're getting to the ball.
Oh, man, you got to love that. But C.J. Allen, I mean, you've talked about so many times, just looks like you're watching another number 3 play the linebacker position about 7 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, man, he is so quick. All of them are in that inside linebacker room there. 10 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, and a fumble recovery. And I want to say this too, man. We shouted this guy out last week, Dan Jackson. The man just makes plays out.
Just makes plays, man.
Yeah.
Just makes plays out there in that secondary.
And he's just not afraid to come downhill and hit you either.
Yeah. It was good to see Jonell Aguero.
Yeah,
and he looks big in that start position. He looks bigger than I remember seeing him last year and in kind of the spring games. I mean, a solid guy in that star position. I don't know if he got a little bit banged up because he was out there, of course, the first series and he kind of took a hiatus a little bit, but then came back in the game, or if it was game plan, because you have different packages. I love how we have so many different looks. And when you got a guy as elite as Malachi Starks in that secondary, and especially as a quarterback, when you're trying to find where he's at on the field, that you have sometimes he's playing free safety, sometimes he's playing star.
Yeah.
Because then you have Bolden plug in, and him and Dan Jackson are deep, and you got Malachi Starks playing the star, or you got Dan Jackson, Malachi Starks back there, and Aguero playing the star. And just so many different options. Bolden, another kid came by this freshman that's grown up in a hurry, man, and just looking just great. He was banged up a little bit, but he did come back later on in the game and actually get some playing time in the game again. So nothing really serious there, I don't think. So that was good. Yeah,
I loved getting to see the young defensive guys make some plays too. We saw, I mean, literally everybody rotated in and out the second half. But, this is one of those games, you just got to keep guys healthy, win the football game, have some fun too. You know, I think that's something that Kirby kind of pushes for, is for them to have fun, especially with this kind of opponent. You can, once again, sort of afford to do that. And you just go out there and fly around and make plays. So great day from both sides of the football. And then we would be remiss. Okay.
One quick thing. 25 people got tackles. We talked about how many people got receptions. 25 people made tackles, all the way from freshman guys like a DeMelo Jones right there, Justin Williams. Damon Wilson was out there, man. Just Chris Cole, another big body guy. Jordan Thomas had a sack. And there's guys like that were on that defensive line, these young freshmen from that talented class we've been talking about. And one thing I want to touch on real quick, Clark. Smile Mondon, I feel like these young linebackers, the C.J. Allens, the Justin Williams, the Raylan Wilsons of the world, has kicked him into a different gear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, that was what was going to happen to Jamon Dumas Johnson had he stuck around.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he got surpassed last year, and Smile was on the verge.
Yeah, I mean, iron sharpens iron, and I think he's just come out this year and kicked it up a gear because he's seen all these talented young pups behind him, man. He's playing to an elite level I don't think we've ever seen him play at before, and I think it's truly because of the competition inside that room that is, and he's the leader in that room, the veteran guy in that room, and it's just good to see. So, I mean, Glenn Schumann, man, tip of the hat.
Yeah. One last note on defense. Didn't see Michael, obviously still hurt, banged up. We need him back as quickly as humanly possible.
Yeah.
But, you know, thankfully we've got some dudes behind him to fill in for now.
Yeah, you got Damon Wilson, hopped up kind of that outside linebacker role, playing some good ball. But, yeah, you need lineman guys like Warren Brinson, Jordan Hall, Xavier McLeod, and of course, Michael Williams were your 4D linemen that did not play yesterday.
Georgia Special Teams here. Here we go. Anthony Evans, Adam.
Yeah.
Dadgummit, he almost took one back.
Man, he did, man. He's confident. I like how it's almost scary a little bit.
Yeah.
When a guy gets that confident, and it's like he needs to know where his halo is around him with guys of when to fair catch the football, when to go. But I mean, yesterday he was like, I'm going to take every punt.
I know. I got a little nervous there. I wish he'd fair catch it.
Yeah, but you got to love the confidence that he has back there as a return guy, man. And yeah, I mean, he's a guy who can pick up a lot of yardage from returning punts. And yeah, Clark, you've called it, and I think he will sometime this year. I think we're going to see him bust a big one and score a touchdown returning punt.
Gosh, I hope so, because otherwise I keep jinxing these guys if not.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. So
that's going to happen. Going to happen.
Peyton Woodring, 2 for 2 on field goals. Good day for him. Hey, he's still 100% this season. Keep going, buddy. And then Peyton Thorson, man, God, he hit a beautiful 55-yard punt. It was just a perfect spiral. Super tight spiral. I love how punters can do that. Man, he is, and we say this every episode, and we will continue to say it. The kid is a weapon. You know, when you can flip the field like he can, that's going to come in big, you know, when we're in bigger games this season.
Yeah, I mean, special teams wins national championships. Good, solid special teams play. When I mean not making mistakes in special teams wins you national championships, man. And having a good kicker and a punter is every bit the core of that, Clark. And we got it in Athens, man. And another great start by both of those guys this year. I mean, when the lights came on last year for Peyton Woodring, about a quarter of the way through the season, they've came on and they've just gotten brighter.
Yeah. He's delivered, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that wraps it up pretty much for Georgia Tennessee Tech. Not much else to say.
No.
Great performance by the Dogs, 2-0, and we're looking to make it 3-0 this Saturday.
Yes, sir, baby.
In Lexington, Kentucky. It's going to be a fun game, 7:30 kick. So night game, first night game, and like you said, Adam, this is a sneaky good environment.
Yeah,
and a lot of Georgia fans don't really expect that. If you've never been, you would never really think about it. But, man, they will get up. And
it's a weird place to play.
Yeah, and they just got beat by South Carolina last week, 31-6. Everybody and their brother, including us, picked Kentucky to win. They were favored by like 9 points or something, and they just got demolished by South Carolina.
Well, it just shows any given Saturday from you really, you know, got to take a little bit of grain of salt from what a team did from the previous week going into this week, man. And Carolina, I mean, just Old Dominion, the Monarchs took them down to the wire there in Columbia. And Shane Beamer looked stressed and everything. It was like, oh, yeah, I mean, Mark Stoops' Kentucky team looked really good against a Sun Belt Southern Miss team, man. And until the weather happened up there in Lexington, so everybody's like, oh, yeah, I mean, Kentucky's going to get them. But Shane Beamer owns Mark Stoops. And that's why we have it on the board, because it's just so funny. I mean, Mark Stoops, ever since he made the comment about 3 years ago at SEC Media Days about Beamer's little YouTube like video or Twitter video that he had, you know, kind of with the sunglasses and everything, since Mark Stoops kind of took shots at Shane Beamer has owned him. Mark Stoops hadn't beat him since.
You know who else owns Mark Stoops? And Shane Beamer.
Kirby Smart.
Kirby Smart.
But
that's exactly right.
It's just funny that Stoops is owned by Beamer, so we had to take a little shot at that because historically, if you follow this show, you know how we feel about Shane Beamer too.
Nice guy, Shane. Man, it sucks that we don't get to play him this year.
It does. But
anyway, UGA owns the record against Kentucky, 63-12 and 4 ties. We have currently a 14-game win streak against the Wildcats. The last 4 meetings, Adam, let's just talk specifically about Lexington, because we know what kind of happens in Sanford. But Lexington, man, let's go back to 2016, 27-24. Rodrigo kicks a game winner, tight game. We weren't a very good football team. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Kirby's first year, yeah.
Kirby's first year, yep. 2018, 34-17, playing for the East up there.
Yeah.
Got it done. That was what was his name? Benny Snell?
Benny Snell. Oh, yeah, Benny Snell.
And they had a good team, but, I mean, Georgia pulled away there towards the second half. And then 2020, honestly, the weirdest game I've ever been to in my entire life.
Yeah, I'd agree with
14-3, just the weirdest environment. I got scammed out of like $200.
Just all around bad day, man. It was kind of eerie feel in Lexington, weird feel. And then the Richard LeCount motorcycle wreck happened that night as well.
Dang,
it was Halloween night, Halloween day, just weird, very weird day in Lexington, Kentucky during the COVID year that year.
And it's like we didn't really want to be there. Kentucky didn't really want to be there. It was like a noon kickoff.
Yeah, it was strange.
And everybody was
cold.
Everybody was wearing masks. It was weird.
It was weird.
And then the last time we went up there, 2022, a 16-6 victory. One of the weirdest games I've ever been to as well. I mean, it was just strange. You'd think we'd go up there and at least put up more points, but super cold.
That was the coldest game I've ever been to in my life. Next to last week of the year. So the week before Thanksgiving, the Saturday before Thanksgiving, very cold up there. Even though we won by 10 points, Clark, it never felt like you were in danger of losing that game, but it was just a weird feel. Yeah. It was just a weird feel with, Will Levis was their quarterback, and just another one of them games up there, man. They're just weird up there. You really can't explain them. You can't explain why Georgia doesn't just smoke them up there. The last time Georgia did was the 2014 game, which wasn't on this list. It was like 63-14, just smoked them in Lexington that day. But they were, I think that was Stoops' first year, maybe, or second year. But yeah, I mean, you just went by the last 4 meetings we've had up there. Have been kind of some weird games, with the exception of 2018 against a top 10 Kentucky team that year, where Georgia took care of business. I felt like pretty well in 18 there. Yeah. But it's a game, man. It's an environment that Kirby Smart will be the first to tell you it's hard to win up there, and it is. And it still will be Saturday, man. I mean, even though they got smoked, and I think Georgia will take care of business and win comfortably, it's still not a game I feel like you could take lightly in the sense of the environment and stuff that happens up there.
Yeah. I mean, we can't go in this game sleepwalking. I mean, if you do, and you let this Kentucky team hang around, despite them getting beat 31-6 by Carolina, if you go up there sleepwalking, it's never going to work out good for you.
No.
I'm not necessarily saying we're going to lose, even if we weren't to get off the bus, but it could obviously be a really close game if you don't take care of business.
When is the Kirby Smart football team not got off the bus?
That's true. It's been a long time.
It's been
2019 Carolina.
Yeah, that was it, man. And it's been since this new era now of the second era of the Kirby Smart era. Like, I'm going to break the Kirby Smart era into 2 different eras.
Okay.
Now, this era, they get off the bus every time. They get off the bus every time. The first SEC opponent of the year, man, they're going to get off the bus, and they're going to be ready to rock and roll in Lexington. Man, I love that we're not going to have some cold, inclement weather.
Yeah. To deal with. And it was windy too last time. We didn't really throw the ball. We just ran the ball. It was weird.
I got frostbite.
Did you really?
No, but I felt like I did. Felt like I did, man. I felt like I couldn't feel my toes up there that day, man.
It was awful.
God, it was rough.
Georgia opened as a 21.5 favorite. But now, Adam, the spread is 24 points. So
hammer it,
people
baby.
Love the Dogs, and honestly, I'm with you. Hammer it.
Hammer it.
Because this could truly be a 35-point victory for the Dogs. I mean, it could be. We got to take care of business. Kirby Smart has not lost to Mark Stoops ever. Georgia hasn't been beaten in Lexington since 2006, and the last time we've just been beaten by Kentucky General was 2009.
That was a terrible night in Athens. Terrible day in 2006, man. But, yeah, that's crazy. I mean, Mark Stoops it was the only team in the old SEC East that they never beat was Georgia. Mark Stoops has never beat Georgia, man, and he's been there since 2013, I said, or 14, one of those years. So been over 10 years over and at Kentucky, and 0-11 or whatever against Georgia, going back Rick and Smart, and I don't think it's going to happen this year either.
Nah,
not going to happen this year either.
I don't know if you really watched much of Kentucky last week, Adam.
Yeah.
They just can't throw the football.
I saw that, man. Brock Vandegrift, 3 for 10, 30 yards. 3 for 10, 30 yards. And
a pick.
And a pick. Vandegrift, I hate that, man, because I really like Vandegrift as a person.
Yeah.
And I think he was a stand-up guy and a good representative of his time here at the University of Georgia. But I think, like, Todd Monken saw it early that he's just – I don't think he's got that it factor as a starting SEC elite quarterback.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I do like the kid. I don't want to throw him under
and everything, but
right. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but he's an athletic kid. But
there's a reason why he wasn't the competition at Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, and you got to think too. Where did he play at school? I mean, Prince Avenue, great school, great private school, but he's not playing against the 7A schools in Georgia. It's private school, it's a different league, and I'm not saying those guys aren't talented. I'm just saying it's not to the level of the other guys that are being recruited by Georgia, who they're playing in high school. Once again, very athletic kid, but he just stares down receivers, and he did that at Georgia. He doesn't look guys off. He didn't last week. He threw it. He went on his pick. He just, God bless him. I don't know. He just can't read a defense as well. Once again, I love the kid, and I'm pulling for him. I really am. Not this week, obviously, but any other week.
Yeah. Well, and I hope he is the starter because Gavin Wimsatt, I think was his name, number 2, the guy that came in for Brock Vandegrift right after he threw that interception. I think he was benched. I don't think he was hurt, right? Well, I think they benched him. They wanted to try something different. Excuse me. I don't know what we'll see. If we'll see Brock or if we'll see Gavin starting this week up there, but they're going to have to do something. Bush Handem, is that the offensive coordinator? First year's offensive coordinator. They went. It's been weird. The offensive coordinators that Mark Stoops had up there. They had Liam Cohen in 21. And they loved him. He was great. And then he went to the NFL. And then last year they got, or in 2022, they got another NFL guy from the 49ers tree, I believe. It was a terrible, terrible offensive year for Kentucky that year. They get rid of him and they get Liam Cohen back again, Clark, last year. Well, what's Liam Cohen do? He stays 1 year at Kentucky, bolts back to the NFL. So they got another kind of NFL guy, like one of these analyst guys, position coach guys to come coordinate the offense again. And I don't know. It just doesn't look like Liam Cohen's the only guy that's kind of had some success with Kentucky's offense. And Kentucky's a team that the past 6 years, even before the portal became the popularity of the portal, that they rely on a portal quarterback. There's not really any in-house, in-program grown quarterbacks came up through the system. They kind of just go get a mercenary for a couple years or a year or so. And Brad White, solid defense coordinator, Clark, on the defense side of the ball for Kentucky. I really like what he's done up there and really expected him to be at a bigger program by now,
Yeah. Their offensive line, very shaky last week, gave up 5 sacks against USC. South Carolina, they had a whopping 252 total yards of offense and still won 31-6. Wow, that's amazing. That should tell you something about Kentucky's offense. Kentucky was held to just 183 total yards. Once again, y'all, this was a team that was favored to win by 9 points or something last week against a decent South Carolina team. South Carolina, maybe they are a little bit of a better team than anybody's giving them credit for, but that first showing against Old Dominion week 1 did not really look great. But, hey, they whipped Kentucky last week on the line of scrimmage. And I think Kentucky – Mark Stoops was saying there's a lot of self-inflicted wounds. They had a lot of penalties. Turnovers didn't help. And you can't play that way against the number 1 team in the nation. I mean, it's just not going to work for you. So they either, A, come out playing with their hair on fire. Their defense keeps them in this game against Georgia for 2 quarters. Georgia pulls away in the second half. That's what I think. Or B, they come out and they play like they did last week, very uninspired. They make mistakes. Georgia's going to absolutely run them out of the stadium.
Yeah, you're right. It's either going to be one of 2 things, Clark. They're either going to play above their potential, kind of come together and rally, or there's going to be a divided locker room, divided on, guys, which quarterback they want to see, kind of the Mark Stoops, kind of another angle with the Kentucky fan base in the program, Clark. If you remember, go back to when we were at the Georgia Tech game, and there were early reports later in that game that Mark Stoops had took the job at Texas A&M. And he was all but gone there. And then the A&M fan base was like, no, it's not happening. So it's kind of Kentucky fans are feeling, well, does he really want to be here? They're kind of tired of him. They're kind of getting the feeling from what I've read and kind of gathered the pulse in Lexington is they feel like Stoops doesn't really want to be here anymore. Yeah. I think Stoops thinks that – I think it's getting to the point, too, where Stoops thinks he's almost hit the ceiling where he needs more resources, needs more NIL money to go to that next level. You should appreciate where I'm at with the resources I have. I mean, they've always been overshadowed by – basketball up there, man. I mean, Bear Bryant got a watch one year, and Adolph Rupp got a new Cadillac, you know? So, I mean, it's just the differences in the culture up there. They love basketball, and it just doesn't seem like the whole program from top to bottom, even though Mark Stoops has done a phenomenal job the past decade at Kentucky for what they have been. But this new era NIL, I think, is just getting to them, man, and it's just not a good spot I think Kentucky football is in right now. So we're going to see what Kentucky team are we going to see Saturday, just kind of the attitude and where the culture is right now going into this year.
Mm-hmm. And last year, you know, after we beat the brakes off of them in Sanford Stadium, Mark Stoops goes and he kind of complains and he's like, hey, we need our donors to pony up some more money and you know, so we can go get these players in the portal. And that's what happened. I think a lot of them stepped up. And according to Kentucky fans, because I've also kind of been on their boards and listening to what they're saying, but they did. And they feel like, you know, this year they got the players that they wanted in the portal. They got some pretty good talent. You know, they got Georgia's maybe third string quarterback and a guy who played a lot of football at linebacker at Georgia. They brought some key pieces in the portal. They paid for it. But now they're not seeing the results, or, you know, after this past Saturday, they're not seeing the results that they want to see.
They want to see a good ROI.
Yeah,
exactly. And Vandegrift got a good paycheck, too.
Yeah, he
did. I mean, he got a good paycheck for a guy who had never started a college football game at the University of Georgia. And there was a high expectation level with him coming in for what he needed to do with the amount of money that he was paid. And it was very well, I mean, life-changing.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe Brock Vandegrift turns it on this offensive line for Kentucky.
Just show out against Georgia.
Yeah, maybe the offensive line gets it together and they block well. But, man, you're going up against arguably the best front seven in the nation. And if you got manhandled by South Carolina last week, it just doesn't bode well for you if you're Kentucky. But, hey, any given Saturday, if you're the Dawgs, you can't go sleepwalking into this football game. We said it. You know, they've got a great running back. I think they're going to lean on him. He's a senior. His name is Demi Sumo Carnbay, I think. That's how you say it. Yeah. Okay. Tough name to say.
Yeah.
And then they've got Dane Key. I think that's their leading receiver, number 6. He's a junior.
In-state guy.
Yeah.
Kentucky born, Kentucky bred.
Yep. Thoroughbred.
Yeah. That's right.
So those are kind of the key playmakers on the offense. I don't really know anybody on defense other than Jamon Dumas-Johnson.
Yeah.
But,
I don't either anymore up there.
Yeah. But the keys to the game, though, I think Kentucky will want to obviously keep the possession as long as possible. They want the longest time of possession for sure. You can't – but if you're Georgia, you cannot let Brock Vandegrift beat you with his legs because this is a quarterback, you know, he's got some pretty good –
He's got some wheels.
He's got some wheels.
Scoot.
Yeah, I mean –
He can scoot.
Yeah, he made some great passes against Southern Miss, but, yeah, a lot of them were outside of the pocket. You know, so you got to keep them contained. You got to eat up front. South Carolina, there were several times this past Saturday. They rushed 3. They dropped, you know, 8 guys in coverage, rushed 3, and they're still getting pressure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think you send the house a lot if you're Kirby because you got guys who can play man-to-man on the outside. Man up. You know, I think our guys are just as talented, if not way more talented, than their skill players. Man up and just send the house.
This defense should eat, Clark. And another thing is this Georgia coaching staff and the day and age of how this portal works now knows Brock Vandegrift's weaknesses and strengths inside and out. I mean, they've seen him every day in practice for the past, 3 years before this, man. They know what makes him click and, you know, where he could be a problem with and then what his weaknesses are. And, I mean, that's why I think you look at where they were, you know, I don't think they have a very elite wide receiver room. And I obviously with Vandegrift, his play last week just didn't look very inspiring. So what you do if you're Georgia's defense, first, Clark, you don't let them just run the football on you. Yeah. You stuff the run, and you make Brock Vandegrift beat you with his arm. And I love those chances, man. I love that it could be a very just another dominant day by this Georgia defense.
Yeah. I'm afraid. I'm not afraid. I'm just saying maybe we should look out for what Auburn did last year. You know, nobody expected Peyton Thorne to tuck the ball and run it, and he made a couple big plays that first drive. He took it for 70-something yards. But if this backup quarterback comes in, I watched him run at him. That's something we do have to look out for. I'm sure that's part of the game plan defensively for Georgia. But if you're Kentucky defensively, I think the only way you're going to win this game is to pressure Carson Peck, but he's going to pick you alive if you do that.
If you do that, you're going to pick him alive. Man.
Right, because, our offensive line's stout, and I think this will be another good test for them. They showed out well against Clemson. We just have to play to our standard. We're going to win this football game very, very easily, I think.
Yeah, man. I think we'll have a very balanced attack on offense. I think we'll be able to get yards through the air and on the ground, and it's the most confident I've felt about a Georgia-Kentucky game in a long time.
Yeah, same here.
Not that I was, oh, my God, Kentucky's going to beat us. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like this game really could get out of hand. This one should.
This does not necessarily feel like a trap game. I mean, if you're Georgia and you go out there and you don't take care of business, you don't get an early lead, it could happen. But
I don't think this was a fluke loss by Kentucky to South Carolina in the sense of that they're just going to get that much better and look back. It's like, how in the world did Carolina beat them? I think this Kentucky team is not as good as they've been in years past. Mm-hmm. And if Georgia goes out and just imposes their will against them and just leaves them, just dismantles them in Lexington, you're looking at a team, if you look at their schedule, man, that could really be 3-9 at the end of the year.
Yeah, they've got a brutal schedule, I think, too. But so we're going to save our score predictions for the end of the show. But
yes, sir, baby.
That's kind of I will call it our scouting report on Kentucky there.
I like it.
So feeling good, though. Feeling real good.
I'm feeling good.
Good.
I am.
All right, let's talk about some games last week.
Nah.
Start with Texas at Michigan, 31-12. Didn't get to watch much of this, unfortunately. I need to go back and watch the highlights. But, man, Texas apparently they kicked some tail. And I think it has a lot to do with Michigan's offense. Not really.
Yeah,
obviously it's not the same.
They don't have a quarterback. J.J. McCarthy leaves, man. Whole coaching staff, a lot of those guys leave, and a lot of just key pieces besides old Donovan Edwards just left that Michigan program. And, it's just not a team that, you're looking at. It's like, oh, they're going to do what Georgia did and go back-to-back.
Right.
It's not there. Just not there.
Not quite. Texas looked good, man. I was very impressed by how they went into Michigan and just dominated them, really.
Yeah.
That Georgia-Texas game's worrying me a little bit more now, but we'll see. We'll get there. We'll get there when we get there. Mm-hmm. Iowa State at Iowa, 20-19. Iowa State comes into where's Iowa at?
Iowa is in Des Moines.
Yeah.
Ames is Iowa State.
Okay.
But they came into Des Moines. They waved to the children to begin the game to set the tone right, and then, wow. So did Big Kirk go for the win at home?
He did. No. Yeah, he went for 2.
Isn't the coaching Bible, though, that you go for 2 if you're on the road, kick it if you're at home?
That's always what I've heard, yeah.
So you mean the Hawkeyes decided to go for 2 at home?
Maybe it's the other way.
No, it's on the road, baby. You go for 2. You go ahead and do it on the road. So Kirk just said, hey, we're at home. We're going to go for 2 instead of going to overtime at the house. We're going to, that's backwards to me, right? I mean, I'm not a Division I football coach, but I always kind of thought that was the gospel in the coaching world is, man, and, you go ahead and go to overtime if you're at the house, but if you're on the road, man, let's go ahead and try it.
Man likes to gamble, I guess.
I guess, man.
South Carolina, Kentucky, 31-6. We talked a little bit about this one, but hey, Shane Beamer's feeling good about his football team.
Feeling good.
Real good. You need to go back and watch this post-game.
That's right.
It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. It is good. I did see it.
But no, I mean, sure enough, that's a big win for South Carolina.
Yeah, tip your hat, Shane Beamer. Seriously, man. In all seriousness, man. Very interested to see what happens in Columbia this upcoming weekend, Clark.
Yeah, they got LSU coming in town.
I don't know.
Yeah, you never know.
I don't know.
Well, that game's on our pick-up, so
all right, good deal.
In just a second. Tennessee versus NC State, 51-10 beat down. The Vols put it on the Wolfpack. I think we saw this coming. But, man, I tell you, Tennessee, I don't know if they I think it's more of NC State is just really, really overrated. But Tennessee did put points on the board. I think their defense looks really good. So, that's another team we're going to have to look out for later.
You really have to tip your hat to Josh Heupel, man. I mean, in a long line of the past since Philip Fulmer left in 2000, at the end of the 2008 season, they've just been wandering through the wilderness as far as getting a guy who can establish their culture in there, and it's been a laughingstock, and it's been enjoyable those few years. But Josh Heupel has come in and brought some success and a lot of excitement back into Tennessee's football program, man, and always been a good offensive mind. But, as much as I hate to admit it, you got to be impressed with now he's working on the defensive side of the football the past couple of years, trying to get them at a level of play that can complement his offense. I'm not going to sit here and say they're God's gift of football by any means yet, but definitely an improvement to where they've been, before he's came here, and it just seems like he's building it, more every year. And I don't know, man. I think they'll definitely be a team that's kind of, you're looking at the late of the season. Are they going to make the playoff or are they not?
I think they will, actually. They're going to be a bubble team, but they will. They've got some tough games. They got to go to Oklahoma. They got to go to Georgia. But other than that, they're going to stay competitive, and they will stay competitive in those games, I think.
And they very well could beat Caitlin DeBoer, Alabama's team in England.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, boy.
That'll be a fun game.
If they do that again, oh, my gosh. Anyway, Colorado at Nebraska.
I love it.
28-10. Ha, ha, ha.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I think the Deion experience will come to a very just fiery, burning crash this year. I just feel like he is the ultimate, travel baseball dad, just on steroids in the sense that he somehow finagled his way into a Division I head football coaching job for his children. And Shadur, I think, is a talent. Definitely going to get drafted better than I thought he would be. But, he left the game, went in the locker room, 2 minutes left. Completely just had a interview where you never hear a Georgia football player say this, even if it was true. Just threw his offensive line completely under the bus.
Yeah.
No accountability. It starts leadership on down. And I'm going to say it. It's concerning to me. More so, not just the development these guys are as football players, but development as young men that they might be getting when the head football coach is all about him and the show and the service.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. I'm sorry, I might have stepped on some toes there. But
no, it's a trickle-down effect, honestly. I was not impressed by him walking off the field with 2 minutes. It would be one thing if he were hurt. This kid wasn't hurt. He was looking out for himself, didn't want to be embarrassed. He thought Nebraska fans were going to storm the field for his safety. Well, what about for the safety of everybody else? Are you really that big of a deal?
It's a circus, man.
I don't know.
It's a circus.
It rubs me the wrong way. Football's a team sport, man. Stop making it about yourself. Anyway, this week's
here we go.
We got some okay
some heavy hitters.
Yeah. This is not a very good week of college football. So we say.
Okay. All right.
But now there will be some interesting games, I bet, that will arise. Last week we saw Northern Illinois knock off number 5 Notre Dame. Who's to say that one of these teams can't do the same?
That's right.
So Friday night, I didn't realize we had this one. Number 20, Arizona goes into Kansas State, ranked number 14. That's a fringe playoff team.
Yeah, Big 12 game now.
Yep, 8 o'clock, Fox. Adam, who do you like?
Give me Kansas State, man. At home in Manhattan, Kansas struggled against Tulane on the road last week. Kind of a big culture win. Clark facing some adversity going down to New Orleans and down at halftime by double digits, but coming back and getting a W. Maybe we'll jumpstart this team with a brand new offensive coordinator and everything as far as getting into conference play and this new look where the Big 12 champion, no Oklahoma, no Texas, but if you win it, you get an automatic bid into the playoffs. So you're going to have a team that's like, wow, they're in the playoffs. Can't believe that. Come out of that Big 12 winning it, and this will be a good looking win on the resume, and I think that you're going to need to kind of get in that conference championship hunt there. So give me the Wildcats of Kansas State.
I will also take Kansas State. I actually like their colors, so
okay,
and I know they got a good quarterback,
right?
So
right. All right.
Also like Arizona's colors, they're red, white, and blue. Arizona last week, fun fact, struggled against Northern Arizona. I think
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, Jed Fish has left them. There's
really?
no more Jed Fish in Arizona. He's gone to Washington to replace Kalen DeBoer.
Do we know Arizona's head coach?
I do not.
Well, he's in for a rude awakening in Kansas State, wherever that is. Manhattan.
That's right.
Not New York, right?
No, Manhattan, Kansas, baby. Okay. Yes, sir.
All right, Saturday.
A little bit different than Manhattan, New York.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Saturday, we got some good ones starting at noon. Number 4, Alabama at Wisconsin.
Going to Camp Randall.
12 o'clock Fox. Alabama is a 15-point favorite currently. And Adam, I'm going to take Alabama because, and yes, I did watch the game last week. They struggled against USF. Yes, I realize the final score is very deceiving to that game. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, they're still going to be a good football team. I think they just played really sloppy last week. They're not, traditionally speaking, at least under Nick Saban, they don't go into away stadiums and just poop their pants, per se. They're going to come out and they're going to play well, I think, and kind of regroup because there's going to be some chirping around this Alabama football team. They're not the same under Nick Saban. Mm-hmm. Those guys are going to take it personally. So give me Alabama and the points. Yeah, I agree with that, Clark. I mean, they struggled against South Florida last year in Tampa with Nick Saban, and you saw what happened to them. They made the playoffs, so definitely can't dictate what Alabama will be like this season after that performance Saturday night. But I agree with that. Wisconsin's not a good football team. Very tough, hard-fought game in Camp Randall against South Dakota last Saturday. Let them hang around a good bit. Yikes.
I think Alabama will make a statement up in Big Ten country, and Milroe will have a big day, and they will beat Wisconsin pretty handily.
Yeah, I like it. Number 16, LSU at South Carolina, 12 o'clock ABC. LSU is currently favored by 7, so a touchdown in favor of Brian Kelly. Adam, Brian Kelly or Shane Beamer? Which one do you like? Which one do you like less?
Golly, this is like picking between Brussels sprouts and collard greens to eat for Sunday lunch. I mean, golly, oh man, Clark, I'll be honest with you, man. Willie B will be rocking. Willie B will be rocking. They're going to have Sandstorm blaring. They're going to be all fired up, man. And Brian Kelly is livid. I think LSU is going to win a close one, but I think it's going to be some entertaining football for all of us to watch at a game that will not be decided until late in the second half.
So you're going with LSU, right?
Yeah. Win a close one.
Oh, man. I'm going to do it, Adam. Give me Shane Beamer and the Cox pulling off a big win against Brian Kelly. God, that just feels blasphemous. I just hate South Carolina.
Do you think they'll be ranked after they win?
Oh, yeah. No, I think, and there's a lot of people, there's a lot of South Carolina fans. I was watching some of their stuff today, too. They really do feel like they're going to be ranked here within the next week.
They got a brutal schedule, so they better enjoy it while they can, man. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them beat LSU. I mean, and then just see Brian Kelly explode. Explode, man. So, that'll be fun to watch. Good game to tune into.
Yeah. Number 24, Boston College at number 6, Missouri. 12:45 SEC Network. What a weird kickoff there. Missouri favored by 16 points at home against the Boston College team. For those who don't remember, beat Florida State like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Labor Day night. Yep. What do you like?
Man, I think this is a sneaky best game on the slate.
Really?
Yeah, I like what Bill O'Brien has already done in a hurry up in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts. I think Eli Drinkwitz's Missouri team is going to win this football game, but the spread's at what? 16? I do not think they covered the spread, though. It's going to be entertaining, but give me the Missouri Tigers to win. But I will say this, Boston College under Bill O'Brien definitely going to come in with a lot more hype and be a whole lot better than what they thought about when they circled this game earlier in the year.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's why I put it on this. I wouldn't have put it on it otherwise, they've already made some noise, Boston College. But, yeah, give me Missouri. I'm like you, Adam. I don't think they're going to cover.
Yeah,
but Luther Bird and Brady Cook, this may be a shootout. Actually,
yeah, it might be.
We'll see. I think Boston College, they were helped out by Florida State just because Florida State's offense is absolutely atrocious.
Yeah,
Missouri, on the other hand, does have a pretty good offense.
So, right.
Anyway, all right, number 9, Oregon at Oregon State.
Wow, a Civil War game in week 3.
Yeah, isn't this at the end of the year or something?
Yeah, I mean, it was when they were both in the old Pac-12, man. But conference realignment, man. No longer conference foes anymore. So no longer Thanksgiving rivalry weekend slated games. So, yeah, give me Oregon to go into Corvallis. Win a big game.
I didn't put a time down on this one. But, Adam, I tell you what, if they play anything like they've been playing against their last 2 opponents, Idaho and Boise State. Now, granted, Boise State's not a pushover per se. They're not what they used to be. But if they play like that in Oregon State, You never know. But
Yeah.
I'm like you. Give me Oregon, and I don't think they're going to cover. I think it might be a 13-point victory. They'll pull away at the end or something. But
Dan Land's first year at Oregon, he lost in Coral Vallis.
did he really?
Sure did.
Dang, that is right.
2 years ago.
Wow. Ooh.
But different head coach over there in Coral Vallis now.
That doesn't change your pick?
No.
Okay.
No. Different culture in Coral Vallis now. So
Okay.
yeah, give me Oregon.
Same here. All right, and then the backyard brawl, West Virginia at Pittsburgh, 3:30.
A lot of hate.
3:30 ESPN 2. West Virginia favored by 2.5. I don't know a thing about either one of these teams. But Adam, I do like West Virginia's uniforms. Therefore, I'm picking West Virginia.
Okay, man. Yeah, pick West Virginia. Backyard brawl, a lot of hate. Love this rivalry. Very underrated rivalry. These two fan bases hate each other. Of course, we live in a geographical location in this country where we do not come across a bunch of West Virginia or Pitt fans. But I promise you, from what I hear, they do not like each other one bit. This will be a pillow fight, Clark. These programs are awful. Pat Narduzzi at Pittsburgh is struggled, beat Scott Satterfield's Cincinnati team by 1 point the other day. Neil Brown, this is the nail in the coffin for Neil Brown. He will get beat by Pittsburgh, losing to the second team from Pennsylvania this year for him in 3 weeks. Give me the Pittsburgh Panthers winning a pillow fight.
A pillow fight. Yep. Oh, man. I think we need to find a pillow fight game each week.
A pillow fight. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good segment. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
That actually is a great idea.
Okay. All right.
We might think of that.
Love it.
But for now, we've got the game of the week.
Give it to
us, man. Dang, it's been a while.
Yes.
All right, I got two teams right quick. I'm going to run through. We're going to talk about their mascot. We're going to talk about their notable alumni.
Love it.
If you're new to Game of the Week, welcome. We have a great time. We pick a D2 or D3 matchup that nobody's talking about, and we want to showcase it because, you know, D2, D3 teams are college football teams.
That's right.
And they deserve some love. So we got the Upper Iowa University Peacocks.
Yes, strong mascot.
Yeah.
Strong
at the
mascot.
South Carolina Dakota, not South Carolina, excuse me, South Dakota School of Mines and Technology Hard Rockers. That is the longest name in the history of college athletics right there.
That is awesome.
I'm going to say that one more time.
Yes, do it again.
Upper Iowa University Peacocks at South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. Hard Rockers.
Man.
We got a 6 o'clock p.m. kickoff. Weather's 86 degrees in South Dakota. So let's start, though, with Upper Iowa. Let's talk about them.
86 in South Dakota?
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
Me neither. Upper Iowa University is located in Fayette, Iowa. Their mascot, Adam, is Pete the Peacock. What do you think about old Pete?
He looks like he would be the mascot for the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, another brand of poultry down in Conway, South Carolina.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could pass for him being the mascot down there in Conway as well. I mean, a different type of bird. You know, a peacock is another type of bird. I would say poultry of the avian. Of the avian domain. Yeah. And I would say that, it looks like that, but I think all around strong. I don't understand the baby blues North Carolina. I think they stole that from somebody, those overalls, they stole that from somebody in Chapel Hill at a basketball game, in the student section, to put that on their mascot right there.
Yeah.
But overall, I'd give that grade a B+ mascot, man.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, he's the color scheme is weird because it looks like you got Duke blue. Yeah. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing this picture
Coastal
right now.
Coastal
Carolina teal.
Yes.
And then you got baby blue or powder blue from North Carolina. So just a lot happening. But I respect it. So yeah, B+ on the mascot. I hear you. Some notable.
And I've never seen a black peacock.
Yeah, me neither. Well, no, there's
a dark blue tint maybe.
Okay, that's fair.
I would say, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Some notable alumni from Upper Iowa University. We got Carl McGee. He was the inventor of the modern parking meter.
Wow. Really?
Just
like the digital meter? I don't like that guy.
No.
I
don't think it's the digital.
Well, I don't like that guy.
Yeah, he's just the inventor of the parking meter in general.
I don't like a parking meter.
Me neither.
Do not like a parking meter, so not a fan of that guy. Not a fan.
David Henderson. I don't know. This guy was the first Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. from west of the Mississippi.
Well, good on him, man. Historic. Love that.
Yeah. They don't really have many notable alumni at the school. Their head coach is Jason Hoskins.
Okay.
Give me a letter grade in terms of the strength of Jason Hoskins' name.
I would say that he is an offensive guy. I love that. Jason, strong name for a head football coach, probably runs a spread.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I like it. All right, let's talk about South Dakota right quick. The School of Mines and Technology Hard Rockers.
Yes.
They're located in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Okay.
I want to visit South Dakota.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it'd be pretty up there.
Yes.
Some mascot history. Grubby the Miner. That's their mascot. And Adam, what do you think about old Grubby?
I love it, man. I think this is the best mascot that we have had in this segment in all the years. Yes.
Are you serious?
One of the best, I would say. I take that back. I take that back. But in a long time that we featured, in a long time. Not in the first year that we did this, we pumped out some gold. So I will not say that, but very strong. Clark, I like the beard that does not have the mustache, the old just chin strap right there out of Grubby the Miner. I was very interested to see what the Hard Rocker mascot would be. I didn't know if it would be somebody like Steven Tyler, like Hard Rocker, like an 80s hair metal type guy, as that was the Hard Rockers, or if it was a miner. So that my question is answered. It is a miner. I love how it is not a miner like a West Virginia coal miner with a hard hat and a lamp on his head, or so to say, but a like 1800s miner, like looking for gold, expanding westward bound, man, 6-shooter on his side, cowboy hat, handkerchief for the dust for when he is mining, man. Jeans tucked into the gray boots. A plus.
Yeah, that's an A plus.
A plus mascot right there.
I will say,
absolutely.
I don't get what's on his belt here. It almost, or his holster.
It looks like a Nerf gun.
It looks like it looks like a lightsaber. I'm serious.
It looks like an oversized Nerf gun, like those like pouches for where the bullets would be.
Oh,
those
yeah.
look like Nerf bullets right there.
Little foam bullets.
Yeah.
Gosh, if you're not on YouTube, you're missing out on this.
You need to get on there and see that.
You need to at least look up this segment. But yeah, so Grubby the Miner, Adam.
Grubby the Miner, love that. Love that. I'll just finish the show like this.
Okay.
Second week in a row, I've had microphone malfunctions.
Well, we're almost done here.
Right.
So let's see. Initially called the Long Hairs in the 1890s, the team later adopted the Hard Rockers name, symbolizing toughness and perseverance in line with mining work. So good
I
stuff
might
there.
get a T-shirt. This is one of the ones that we have featured on this show that I'm like, I really like this. I might get a T-shirt. Love the nickname. Love the mascot. Love what this University of the Mimes stand for.
Yeah, just good hard work.
What is University of the Mimes? It's the mime. Like when I think of a mimes, I think of a
mines. M-I-N-E.
Yeah, like a mine. Like a right. Yeah. But I was just saying.
It sounds like mine.
I still go, even though it's mines like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs type mine, West Virginia, Kentucky.
Oh, I see.
Loretta Lynn, coal mine. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
even though it's still, when I see the word mime, I think of a Cirque du Soleil show.
Yeah. The little guys on the street.
Yeah, with the white. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Some notable alumni. Al Kurtenbach, founder of Daktronics. Do you know what Daktronics is?
I don't know.
Adam, surely know what
Al sounds like he is a very wealthy man.
I think he's dead, but yeah, his
was,
family's very wealthy if they own Daktronics. Adam,
What is
Daktronics? Is like the creator of every scoreboard in America. The
Oh,
video
okay.
board.
All right.
In fact, I want to say Georgia's is Daktronics, or at least it was at one point.
Okay.
Our Jumbotron.
That's good information.
Yeah, they make that and a lot more stuff.
Good to know. That's good to know.
And then one more, Dean M. Peterson, the inventor of the Kodak Instamatic camera and the point and shoot camera.
Now, I do know what Kodak photography is, by gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, so we got Dean to thank for that.
Strong alumni right there.
Their head coach is Charlie Floor. What do you think about Charlie's name? Give me a letter grade.
Where's a visor? B plus name. Where's a visor? Defensive guy. Was a D coordinator before his stint here. Actually,
you're spot on with this. Do you realize what unit does he coach?
he is he's definitely coaching the defensive line.
Oh, close. The DBs.
The DBs. Oh, yeah.
He's a Kirby kind of guy. Wears a visor,
Wears
DBs, and the head coach.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Love that. Runs a 3-4.
Probably. Yeah.
Probably.
So the last time Upper Iowa and South Dakota met up, Adam, Upper Iowa put it on South Dakota 20-6. This was back in the 1970s. So this is only the second time, the second matchup here. South Dakota currently on the season is 0-2. The Miners just haven't gotten off to a good start.
Right.
The Hard Rockers, whatever they are. And Upper Iowa is 1-1. So the Peacocks 1-1. The Hard Rockers 0-2. Who do you like in this matchup, Adam?
Give me South Dakota breaking down walls, Clark, and making history. Give me the South Dakota School of the Mines and Technology Hard Rockers going out and swinging that freaking pickaxe and just freaking doing it.
Bludgeoning the Peacocks.
Yes, rolling, baby.
Well, Adam, the Peacocks are going to spread their wings or feathers or whatever they do. And they're going to just bedazzle the Miners.
Okay, so you're going with the Peacocks.
Yeah, I'm sticking with history here.
All right, there you go.
History is on the side of the Peacocks. Upper Iowa rolls big time.
Strong,
27-10.
All right, there you go, man. I love it. A great mascot selections there, Clark. Thank you for finding that for us, man. Feels good to be back in that segment.
Yeah.
All the longtime listeners will enjoy that, I know. And if you haven't, go check out our YouTube where you can see the pictures of these mascots because it would be worth every second of you going and checking them out.
Yeah.
Great segment.
And while you're on YouTube, go hit that subscribe button.
Yes, sir.
And we're really close to 1,000. That's the mark we want to get to. And, you know, hey, go find us on Instagram, Facebook. We're posting some stuff throughout the week. And we post game day content for our Patreon. If you want to join Patreon, $5 a month, that really helps us out. Go to patreon.com/row60. Find us there if you want to get some exclusive content. But yeah, we appreciate y'all sticking around. It's been a little bit of a longer episode. We've had
a lot to cover. Had a lot to cover.
Yeah, we have. Georgia versus Kentucky, though, this week, 7:30 Eastern time. I think it's ABC, maybe?
It is. ABC yep. Prime time, baby. All eyes of the nation on it.
Yep. Georgia rolls big at 44-6.
Yes, sir, baby.
An absolute beatdown.
Yes, sir, baby.
In Lexington, Kentucky. I think the Dawgs win it by 38. Look at me and my math skills.
Love it, man. Love it.
So wrap this thing
44-6, you say. I love it, man. Yeah, I mean, this team, no doubt, as the first 2 weeks of the college football season have come and gone, Georgia still is the undisputed king of this sport right now. They have looked the best, I feel like, and no question the #1 team in America. Clark, that continues on into Lexington, Kentucky, 7:30 primetime game on ABC. The eyes of the college football world while being Lexington to see another dominating performance by this Georgia defense, man. And the conversation after Saturday night in Lexington is this Georgia defense going to be another all-time?
Yeah.
Is what it's going to be. And is Carson Beck going to be a Heisman Trophy winner? Georgia wins this football game 38-10. Kentucky gets a touchdown late in the game when Georgia's second-string guys are in the game right there. Big performance in Lexington. Resting up after getting this win for a bye week and then a monstrous trip to Tuscaloosa. Everybody enjoy it this week. We are living in the glory days watching this #1 team in America play, and you are a fan of that #1 team. And we will be here covering it the whole way, good Lord willing. It's going to be another fun, exciting year of SEC football as Georgia cranks it up in Lexington, Kentucky. Get loud, wear your red this week, and we can be expecting another dominating Georgia performance. Go Dogs!
Go Dogs!